I did a thing. So I just got back from thrifting and collecting a bunch of pieces because I am currently making a dark academia room. So if you're anything like me, you're probably really interested in this aesthetic because I am, and I think this has secretly been my aesthetic all along, but I didn't know that it had a name. And if you don't know what dark academia is, it is an aesthetic that romanticizes a time when the upper classes of society put an emphasis on liberal education. So an interest in classical literature, art, poetry, fashion, architecture, that would be considered dark academia. I think the perfect example of dark academia is Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Just imagine her in the library, in her uniform, always wanting to learn all the time. That is like the epitome of this aesthetic, which I love. So in today's video, I am going to explore this aesthetic fully and do a full room makeover in dark academia. Now I will say this, I have light blue walls. I live in a place where I'm not allowed to put holes in the walls, so I'm going to be a little limited, but I do have some supplies that will allow me to hang things on the walls without damaging them, and I'm gonna do the best that I can with what I have. So now that you know what I'm going to be doing, let's get to it. So this is the space I am working with. This room is quite small, but I think it will work perfectly because it has this beautiful wood paneling with this small shelf, and this wood paneling is something you would see in the Victorian era, and I think it goes perfectly with the dark academia school England vibe I am going for. To get some inspiration, I headed to Pinterest and I created a dark academia bedroom board. On Pinterest, I mostly found items I wanted to include. I did not really find anything that I wanted to replicate exactly. There wasn't too much to go off of except for the Gryffindor common room or the Slytherin common room. Those are very great examples of dark academia. But I did find different photos that just gave me inspiration for the color palette I was going for and some things I wanted to include around my space and how I wanted it to look in terms of design. I loved the wood. I loved this cluttered, organized feel and a little bit of red if possible, maybe a rug, but definitely this gallery wall. This is something I'm definitely doing and I think it will make the room perfect. So I went to the Dollar General store and actually found a bunch of gold plastic frames for $1 each. I got a bunch of different styles and sizes, and I'm going to DIY a portrait wall. And for the photos, I got this Literary Ireland book, and I got this for free from my bookstore who leaves boxes of books outside for people to just grab. And I think it's books that maybe are older or that haven't sold from the bookstore. This could be a possibility at your local bookstore, so I would definitely check. But if not, you could always go to a Goodwill or some sort of thrift shop to find a cheaper book so you can cut out some images. But this book is perfect because there's cottages, there's castles, there's a lot of really cool architecture, there's sunsets. Yeah, there's just a lot of different photos to choose from. So I'm going to cut out my favorites and put them inside of the little frames that I got. I am not able to put any holes in the wall, so I wanted whatever I got to be very lightweight so I could stick it with alien tape, which is something I bought. I will be able to put the alien tape on and stick it right to my wall without damaging the walls at all. And if it falls, it's just plastic. My local thrift store did have nicer looking vintage frames, but they were heavier and I was worried about them falling off the wall, so that's why I opted for these ones. I'm really excited to see how this wall turns out. This is probably my favorite part of the entire project. So what I did was I just went through the book and I selected photos that had a similar color palette and that kind of represented dark academia. I tried to avoid cottages because I felt like that was very cottagecore and that's not what I was going for, and I went for images that were much more moody and that had kind of a green and brown tone to them. Even if you are into dark academia, this is still a great project for you to do to spice up your bedroom or anywhere in your house. It really does look very clean and nice, and it's so easy and it doesn't damage your walls. So once I had selected all the images and framed them, it was time to get to organizing everything. which is probably the most difficult part for me because I am very indecisive. A good rule of thumb when designing is to always make sure that you do things in odd numbers. So for my gallery wall, I ended up getting 7 frames instead of 6. For my candles, I got 3 frames instead of 2, and so on. It is just embedded into our heads to subconsciously try to make things like a grid and make things perfect, but you want to fight that urge because it does not look natural. Alright, so today is decorating day. I have just been waiting for this day. The only thing that I did not get that I do want to eventually get was this mirror from Walmart, and I went there and they were sold out. It was pretty much just like a simple gold long body length mirror. It was only $5, so that's why I specifically went there to get that one. I do plan on getting that in the future. I can do without a mirror for now. It's not really essential to the design that I have in mind, but I thought it would be a cute touch. Here are just some of the books I'm placing in the room. Again, most of these are free, not the Harry Potter series, of course, but about 80% of my books are free, and for this room I am sticking to that burgundy color palette based off of the Gryffindor common room, and I just think this will give it a nice warm feel. I thrifted this working clock for $3. Oh, and it ticks. This briefcase on the top is actually a backgammon set, and the one beneath it is a charcoal drawing kit. I got 14 strands of vines for $10 off Amazon, but I will only be using 3 in this room. I got these plants from IKEA for $5 each, and I got this really nice globe for $2 from Walmart because it was damaged, but the non-damaged one is $10. This 𝚐𝚑 camera is real, and it was gifted to me. I got a 5-pack of different sized candles from IKEA for $8. And the little gold trinket dish underneath I was actually gifted, but they're around $15. This I got from Big Lots in the Halloween section. It was $12. And it does light up with batteries, so it's pretty cool. I got this for 75 cents and the little candle for 50 cents. And this beautiful light, I can't believe it, it was $5. I couldn't have imagined finding a better dark academia lamp than this one. And this leather suitcase I got for free at a clothing swap, and you can find them on Facebook meetup groups. Now that everything's kind of packed up in the room, let's start laying out everything and get it put together. Okay, I'm so excited. Hands down my favorite thing in the room already, and the best part about it is I could actually add to it and cover the entire wall if I really wanted to. It's not perfectly centered, so I'm going to move it over a couple inches. Thank goodness I have the alien tape because it's consistently sticky, so even if I move it, it's still going to stick. I applied my curtains using a shower rod, aka a tension rod, which is another way of applying curtains without having to put nails in the walls, which is a great option for me. I got this curtain rod for $5 from Walmart, and I got the curtains for $5 as well from Walmart, so it cost me a total of $10 just for 4 curtains. Great deal. If there was one thing I would do differently though, I would have gotten longer curtains that touched the floor. I know that having shorter curtains is a big no-no because it makes the space seem like it's much smaller, so if I could go back and get longer ones, I would, but I'm just going to make do with what I have. Now, I won't be adding a desk in this room because I have my desk in another room, so it's not needed here, but I did think that this wooden chair that I thrifted for $8 was essential. This is the perfect chair to go into an England dorm, and I could not resist getting it. My bedside dresser, my dad actually made this for me, inspired by Harry Potter. You won't be able to find this exact one, of course, but you can definitely find some dark furniture that would fit the vibe of this room perfectly. So I decided to stack my 2 briefcases on top of my bedside dresser. I didn't really know how this would look, but they were too cool to just place on the floor anywhere, and I kind of liked the unorganized, organized feel that it gave the room. Oh my gosh, it's done. Oh my gosh, it's done. I'm shocked with how well it turned out. I didn't think it would look as good as it looks, but I'm just like super excited to show you, and the sun's going down, but I can't wait till tomorrow. So let's go check out my dark academia bedroom. Waking up in this room, there is just nothing like it. I really feel like I'm getting ready to go to school, and I'm living in a dorm, and I'm in a different country, and I just love the feeling of that. It just feels very magical, and I don't know, something mysterious about it. So all in all, this room makeover cost me a total of $186. Yes, that is including the rug, and this is not including the bed and my bed frame. But if I was including my bed, which is actually a futon, I totally forgot to mention that, that gives me even more dorm room vibes. My futon cost me $200. So in total, with the bed frame and all the rest of the decor, it would still be under $400. A lot of these things were very easy to thrift, but they did take time to collect. So don't think you need to go out and buy a bunch of stuff to redo your room. Just slowly start collecting things over time and adding them to your collection. Alright, so that's it for my dark academia room. I am just in love with it. I couldn't have imagined a better dark academia room than the one I just created with what I had, and I think it turned out great. So I hope this gives you guys some ideas if you're trying to create an aesthetically pleasing room, and I will see you all in the next one.